Here's a look at a recap of your markets on this Monday, the 6th day of October. Auction day at the Joplin Regional Stockyards are already wrapped up for the day. 5,541 head. Compared to last week, steers sold mostly steady to $15 higher, with the exception being some 5 weights that sold as much as $25 higher and some 4 weights selling 5 to 15 lower. Feeder heifers sold uneven across all weight ranges this week from 8 lower to 8 higher. The feeder steers, medium and large ones, 4 to 5 weights at $430 to $470, 5 to 6 weights at $405 to $460, 6 to some weight steers at $379 to $450, 7 to 8 weights at $371 to $403, 8 to 9 weights at $350 to $370, some 900 to 950 pound steers at $335 to $346. Feeder heifers in Joplin, 4 to 5 weights, $385 to $430, 5 to 6 weights at $365 to $388, 6 to 7 weights at $340 to $399, 7 to 8 weights at $334 to $355, some 8 to 9 weight heifers at $321 to $340. Box beef cutout values closed a bit higher today. Choice was up $1.07 at $363.34. Select up $2.59 at $347.97. Those values based on 143 loads of cuts, trimmings, and grinds. The Choice Select spread at $15.37. Negotiated feedlot trade last week, when all was said and done, 53,446 head of confirmed negotiated sales. The weighted average price on the live sales last week, $230.79. That was down $2.34 compared to the previous week. Dress sales at $359.77. That was down $5.12 compared to the previous week. Taking a look at the closing futures on the Mercantile Exchange, live cattle for October 85 higher, $231.87. December up $217 at $236.67, and February up $280 at $239.62. Feeder cattle for October up $5.22 for the day, $262.40. November up $5.37 at $360.80, and January up $5.47 at $355.20. Lean hogs for October 65 lower, $98.32. December was down 2 cents at $87.27, and February 25 higher at $89.55. Turning our attention to the grain markets at the elevators around this state today, corn bids 2 to 7 higher. Soybeans were steady to 4 higher, and wheat uneven from 2 lower to 7 higher. Corn bids at the elevators in St. Louis, $430 to $436, Kansas $395. Soybean bids in St. Louis, $10.06 to $10.11, Kansas City $9.52 to $9.72, and wheat bids in St. Louis, $4.62 to $4.97. On the board of trade, corn for December 2 3/4 cent higher, $4.21 3/4. March $4.38 1/4 up 2 1/2, and May $4.47 1/4 up 2. Soybeans for November down 1/4 cent at $10.17 3/4. January down 1 1/4, $10.35 3/4. March at $10.51 down 1 1/4. Wheat for December 2 1/2 lower, $5.12 3/4. March at $5.30 1/4 down 2 1/4. May at $5.42 down 2 1/2. Soybean meal for October, $268.80 a ton, down $1.90. Soybean oil for October, $49.79 a hundredweight, up 36 cents. With the Missouri Department of Agriculture, that's a recap of your markets for Monday. This is Tony Hancock.